we've been talking a lot about Invincible lately. I love Invincible. Love this show. It was, not my favorite animated show of the year. That goes to Arcane, kind of by a mile. But I really enjoyed Invincible a lot. And I've been looking forward to the second season. And we were talking the other day about the fact that they haven't even started production on season two.
That's right.
So we don't know when we're going to get a season two. Well, we might have some insight into why they haven't started. It looks like Invincible is getting wrapped up in a big lawsuit. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of this lawsuit, but it basically breaks down to this. When the comic book was being done, one of the original artists, he was the colorist. He didn't write the story and he didn't draw the image, but he was the colorist. He would go in and color the pages, right? Well, I guess what happened was maybe there wasn't a lot of money for when they were trying to get Invincible started, and they gave this colorist some credit, some ownership in exchange for doing what he does. Now, according to the lawsuit, that ownership that this colorist had should have translated by verbal agreement that they had with Robert Kirkman, who is the credited creator of Invincible and is doing the show and everything. He was entitled, apparently, to a certain percentage of the profits for anything that gets done with Invincible in the future. Kirkman says otherwise and hasn't given him anything. And now there is a lawsuit ensuing over Invincible that could maybe be what's holding things up. I thought this was a very interesting thing. We should talk about this for a second. Let me go in and read some of the excerpts from this thing here. Comic creator Robert Kirkman is being sued by an artist who says he was tricked into abandoning his copyright in Invincible and lost out on profits from the superhero franchise, which is now on Amazon Studios animated series. William Crabtree says that he co-created Invincible as its colorist for the first 50 issues, and Kirkman in 2005 convinced him to surrender his ownership stake under the guise of making it easier to sell to studios, according to the lawsuit filed Sunday in California federal court. The Invincible series, which includes a voice cast of Stephen Yeun, J.K. Simmons, Sandra Oh, premiered in March. Was there? Okay. Fraud and deceit have become a standard business practice for Kirkman, and it's apparently where his true creative aptitude lies, claims attorney Devin McGray in the complaint, which is embedded below. McGray previously represented artist Tony Moore in a 2012 lawsuit alleging Kirkman tricked him out of his interest in The Walking Dead, which amicably settled on in undisclosed terms less than 2 months later. So apparently Kirkman has done this before.
Oh, no.
He tricks one of the early stakeholders out of what they're doing under the guise of something else, and then later they get taken to court. Apparently this guy, they had to settle with this guy. Let's get more into the details here of this, though. Crabtree says that he and Kirkman, we're going right from right here. Crabtree says that he and Kirkman had an oral agreement that guaranteed him 20% of single sale proceeds of Invincible and 10% of any revenue generated from other film or television commercial exploitation of the work, together with any derivative projects based on the work and all allied or auxiliary rights to the work. But this is where it gets spicy. But when it came to memorializing the deal in writing, Crabtree alleges a scheme by Kirkman and his agents to fraudulently induce him to assign his copyright interest over to Kirkman's company. He says that Kirkman approached him at the 2005 San Diego Comic-Con and presented him with a certificate of authorship, which purported to characterize all of his contributions as a work for hire. He said that he was in the final stages of licensing Invincible for television productions and that having it represented by a single creator would increase its commercial viability. So basically what's going on here is this guy is kind of making the same assertion that the guy in the Walking Dead lawsuit made against him, that he basically told me, hey, if we just make it look like all the ownership is just under one guy, it's going to make it a lot easier for us to make money by selling it to a studio or something like that. Now, apparently, in the subsequent years after 2005, this guy Crabtree was getting paid out everything he was being owed for the various things. But once the television series hit, he didn't get anything. And Crabtree is now insisting, no, man, I was just giving you that other stuff because I'm a good guy. I don't actually owe you anything. So now this lawsuit's being filed. What makes this particularly interesting and maybe even a little concerning is this is the second time this has happened with Kirkman on a different property. One was Walking Dead. This is Invincible. But this could be thing. Now, some people might say that, well, if the guy didn't sign a contract, then it is what it is. Here's the thing about the law. The law does have protections in place for it. Like, some people think the way the law works is if you're smart enough, you can successfully trick somebody, then you're free and clear. But that's not what the law says. The law has provisions in it that you can't dupe somebody. You can't scheme and trick somebody and swindle somebody out of something under false pretenses. You can't do that. Now, again, I wasn't there. All right. I don't know if these allegations are true. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're not. But this is pretty concerning to see, especially in light that it looks like this has happened before. And if this is a pattern for Kirkman. I mean, I'm not saying it is. I wasn't there. I'm just saying, reading the article, it is kind of concerning. So guys, listen, I want to encourage you guys. I just read a couple of paragraphs. You guys should head over a little later today, head over to the Hollywood Reporter and read the article. It is rather interesting to see. And at first I'm like, some of you guys may be saying at home, and I get it. He's the colorist. He shouldn't have any ownership. Well, it doesn't matter whether you think he should have ownership or not. If the agreements they made when they were making those comics in the first place was he got a bit of a stake in the ownership of it, then that's what he has. It doesn't matter if you think the colorist should have it or not. That's the agreement they made. What is it Robert always says? It ain't about what you deserve. It's about what you negotiate. And if they negotiated that in good faith and Kirkman's breaking it, and again, I'm not saying he is or isn't because I don't know. But if he is, well, that's dirty.
So dirty.
And this guy might be in line to get a lot of money. A lot of money. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this goes. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this whole Invincible Kirkman thing? And by the way, I don't know if this lawsuit is what's kind of holding up Invincible Season 2 or not. Might have nothing to do with it all. But whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.